ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in. It is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday, January 20th. The college football season has officially come to a conclusion as the Indiana Hoosiers, of all teams, have won the college football national championship. They take down Miami last night 27-21 in a fun game. But you know what the end of that season means? Not only do we continue with the crazy offseason of college football, but it is basically college baseball season. We had Baseball Media Day for East Carolina on Monday inside Town Bank Tower. We'll get more into baseball coverage this week. We've got the Bucks on the Pond podcast, which will be tomorrow. We'll have Scott Lorbatcher and Jonathan Wagner join us. And today we are welcoming back an old friend, Cason Remaley from Carolina Curveball. He joins us, as does Philip Pilkinen, back in the 94.3 The Game studios. Cason still got the mustache going. How are you doing, fine sir?
I'm doing great, man. And hey, you said it's baseball season, but hey, it's still basketball season, man. Basketball season's going real strong in Greenville, having a great season. Looking forward to seeing how the Pirates finish it out. But yeah, I watched all the media day coverage of baseball yesterday. You guys did a great job as usual. I miss being there. I cannot believe it's back. Carolina Curveball is going to be back full swing. Me, Braxton, Reed, Colby, Matt, James have already got on it. Braxton, Reed, and Colby have done some really good work on research. We're going to have a transfer list coming out, top transfers coming in, team improvements, have a bunch of content coming out on Carolina Curveball. But yeah, cannot believe baseball's here. I wish I was still in Greenville because it's just different. In Greenville, covering it with you guys, I feel like I basically lived in that stadium during the spring, so I miss it so much and wish I was there with y'all.
No doubt, man. It is baseball season. I mean, it is such a grind because there are so many games. ECU, like, we're lucky to do what we do, and you have to look back and realize that. But it's like the season, it just feels like it's forever, even though it's really not that long compared to MLB. But either way, Philip, are you ready for the grind of baseball season? It was a grind yesterday at Media Day, man. We were there for 3 hours?
It felt like it now. I was about to. It was a grind, though. It was long. And yes, I do feel like I'm ready, and I do feel like Cason lived in the press box. And the reason why I feel this way, I remember one time we were playing at the morning game of the LeClaire Classic. ECU was not playing. The only people in the press box were the people who had to be there. I was there because I was doing PA for the non-ECU game. Cason, who clearly by his body language had stayed up way later than he should have, is like dragging butt, walking into this press box, walks to the back of the room, grabs a Mountain Dew and sits down and just plops down and is like, "I'm here, boys." Cracks open the Mountain Dew and just starts sipping on some caffeine and covered the entirety of this game. And I don't remember what teams were playing, but yes, Cason did live there. And Cason is the only person on this radio station right now who has actually seen the 2025-2026 East Carolina Pirates in person because he went to some of the fall scrimmages.
That is true. I forgot about that. And he provided live updates of such. Was that UNC Greensboro, right? The Pirates looked pretty bad that day, so hopefully we see a better version of this field.
And they looked absolutely terrible, but then again, I'm not putting no weight in that. I would say the one bright spot was Jeff Sabater, as I say his last name.
Sabater.
I think it's Sabater, yeah.
Sabater. He was speedy. He really impressed me. Burris went 0 for 4, and I remember putting that in a forum. People were like, "Oh my gosh, sophomore slump, da-da-da." And I'm just like, people, it's October. Let's relax, okay? But yeah, it was really, really good to be back there in October and cannot wait. Coming up, I always love college baseball season now because it always lands. My birthday is February 15th, so it always lands exactly on my birthday. So it's always a nice birthday present to have college baseball back.
So on February 15th, you have Xavier ECU. Are you going to be in Clark LeClaire for the 12:30 first pitch?
There's definitely a chance Cason and Reed are in Greenville that first weekend for sure. Not going to put it as a definite yes, but definitely a good chance.
We'll wait and see if Cason makes an appearance, how early he makes an appearance in Clark LeClaire, and if it'll be on his birthday. All right, guys, before we get too deep into ECU Baseball Media Day, which will be our next segment, let's wrap up the college football season with last night's game as well. I just want to react to that. I went to Ronnie Woodward's house. I actually hung out with James Gilio to watch some of the game and his roommates. So we had a good crew over there. Gilio, by the way, if you see Gilio out and about, ask for him to buy the beer. Because I don't know if he's old enough to drink it. I think he is now, but either way, he's got the money. He won our squares contest for the game, so he got some money there.
No, he's not old enough. He can buy it and you can drink it. Is how it's
There you go.
Be.
So there you go for Gilio. All right, Indiana wins at 27-21, and I thought, listen to some stuff overnight and into this morning about just the college football season, the state of college football. A lot of good points about, we've seen teams like this in football, especially make runs and not finish the job. And maybe in some ways they're kind of forgotten about. But, to see Indiana not only be really good last year and not finish the job, and then everybody kind of just expected them to, all right, they're going to lose their quarterback. They're going to lose these guys in the NFL. They got to reload. They'll probably be pretty good under Signetti, but they're not going to, make the playoff again. And they're certainly not going to win the championship. And to do all that and to finish it, I mean, it's got to be one of the greatest stories in college sports history, to be honest. I mean, obviously, you got the whole Mendoza and Signetti thing. To me, they're just both awkward and kind of weird to watch, but they kind of fit each other well. And I don't know. I was pulling for Indiana. I don't love the whole Big Ten thing because they just have a ton of money and can basically go buy a championship in many ways now. But also didn't want to pull for Miami for many reasons as well. So I tried to just enjoy the game. It ended up being a pretty good game, but we'll go around the horn here. Takeaways from the game. The season will start with Cason.
Well, first off, I want to say it's crazy to think that me, where I'm living in Burlington, Mebane, Kirk Signetti lived here, not even 10 years ago, coaching Elon, and watching him on that stage last night win a national championship is absolutely unbelievable. I think you could argue the greatest story in college sports is absolutely unbelievable. And I kind of had that same mentality as you last year, and then going into this year, and then when they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, I was like, okay, they're real. And then when they beat Oregon, and then just the magic of that catch versus Penn State, that player gets his foot in, that was like, okay, this team may have something cooking here. And then they go up to Eugene, win, Ohio State win, and just they steamrolled. I saw a stat where they outscored their opponents in the playoff. It was a ridiculous number. And just they weren't just squeaking out these wins in the playoffs. I mean, they had both hands on each game that they played in and had a firm grip on it. And just Mendoza, I just love the Mendoza story. I love me personally, I love the way he talks. I love just his whole thing. I think it's a great story. And it's unfortunate that he's going to be a Las Vegas Raider.
The hate begins now for me as a Denver Bronco fan. I officially hate Mendoza now because I can't pull for any Raider, although I do kind of pull for the young man now. What do you think, Philip, about the Hoosiers winning a college football championship? Still sounds just absolutely bonkers to say.
Yeah, if you'd have said basketball, it would have sounded maybe a little more natural, I guess, to say. Look, man, I think this proves, you mentioned the Big Ten's got money, and they do. But it proves there is more than just spending the most money on a roster. Coaching matters, quarterback play matters, and roster continuity matters. A lot of these guys played together at JMU. A lot of these guys were on the team at Indiana last year. There are some new additions, but if you look, let's just compare them quickly to Texas Tech. Texas Tech had a lot of new faces. They had the most money. They didn't show up in the college football playoff. Part of that was the bye, I think, but Indiana had that same bye. Part of it is Indiana's got a better quarterback, but money doesn't always buy you national championships. You have to have some of it, but you don't necessarily have to have the most. They were the most well-coached team. They were the team that played together the best. They're not the most talented team in the country, and I still believe they're not the most talented team in the country. I don't even think they're top 5. They're probably 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, but they are the best football team in the country because talent does not always translate to wins, and you are judged based off how many games you win. They're the best team in the nation. And look, man, credit to Coach Signetti, credit to the players, and they're going to get a lot of credit, but I want to credit a lot of the parents of these young men because that is a high-character locker room, a bunch of guys who have been told you're not good enough to play at this level. They kept their eye on the prize. So to all the parents of those young men, take a bow as well. You did a hell of a job raising your son, and they all bonded together with a bunch of 3-star recruits and beat kids that are on paper a heck of a lot more talented than they are.
So the game ends with Carson Beck throwing a pick into double coverage. Awful throw, by the way. Just I don't know what that was, but either way, like it was coming at some point. Were y'all watching when he got hit? I think at the start of that drive. Obviously, there's the word out there that Emory Williams could very well become the ECU their backup quarterback, who, by the way, as of 12/10 Tuesday, January 20th, has not entered the portal yet. So we're still monitoring that situation. But I'm hearing still expecting him to wind up here, barring something unforeseen. Either way. When Beck got hit, I thought he was about to go into the game and potentially have to lead a game winner. I'm still convinced Beck may have been concussed. He said after the game his ears were still ringing. So I don't know. I my heart skipped a beat there. Did anybody notice that?
Yeah, I did because he took a shot, and I remember when he was on the ground, and then when you saw his teammates pick him up, his face was just like. Whoosh, and I was like, Emory, start throwing, brother. And then he goes back in and just I'm not going to sit here and say that played a factor maybe, but it's definitely something that might need to be talked about because he took a licking on that hit for sure.
Yeah, he did. I was worried. However, we all know as much as they do monitor concussions and stuff, they're never going to take the starting quarterback out with one drive left. It would have been the first quarter, probably a different conversation right now, but you ain't taking the starting quarterback out in that situation. So I don't know if I say my heart totally skipped a beat unless he was just like totally stumbling as much as yours maybe did, Steven. But I was definitely like, ooh, this ain't good. Maybe they can just go ahead and throw Mensah out there instead of throwing Emory out there in case he wins a game-winning drive. So that can be their starter for next year. And then, he can get hurt on the first play of the game for all I care.
William Landon says, is it just me or does Cristobal come across as the biggest jerk ever? I think both coaches just, I don't know. To me, like the Signetti story is cool, but like he just comes off, to me, kind of unlikable. And then Cristobal, I've just never been a huge fan. Are y'all with me there or y'all feel different?
I think Signetti's
Cristobal reacted. Was it the first one or the last one? Like he didn't want to hold the trophy for the Fiesta Bowl, was it they won? Like he was standing next to the guy that was talking and was like, "Congratulations on winning!" And he was mad that he couldn't get more players on the stage. The sales reps were on the thing, handed him the trophy, and he had a whole shebang of like, "Y'all need to get off here. This is my players' moment." But then he didn't want to hold the trophy. Like, bro, relax. You won the game. Like, it's okay. Breathe.
Yeah, I think he's a jerk. I think Signetti is just dry. I mean, he comes across one of those guys. He's probably like a nice guy to like sit down and have a conversation with. He's just like dry and stern when he's in his moment. But yeah, Cristobal comes across as kind of a jerk.
Either way, great story. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Cristobal on the surface, and I know that Philip's even less of a Cristobal fan now after he's apparently going to steal his quarterback. So
yeah, that guy can go kick rocks.
Yeah, that's a sore spot for Philip. All right, Robert Matthews says Indiana could beat the Seahawks, and Feinbaum would say it was a fluke. Then he has the nerve to say Indiana bought their team, something the SEC has been doing for years. Yeah, I mean, who cares what Feinbaum says at this point? The guy's just a waste of energy. Robert follows up, says, Igo, do you think the Broncos will bring in a quarterback? I've heard a lot of big names. The Broncos are not bringing in a quarterback. They signed DiNucci to be their third stringer. It's Stiddy time, baby. So who's ready for Stiddy in the Super Bowl?
I'm ready for Stiddy. Hey, man, at one time he was going to be Brady's predecessor, and then the Patriots got dumb and tried to bring in Cam instead. They should have rolled with Stiddy.
Look, man, I know I'm 100% biased here, but I feel the weight of the world's lifting off my shoulders, man. If Denver loses, I've got the best excuse in the book. Like, our quarterback got hurt. Congrats. Like, we weren't supposed to win anyways. If you lose to Jarrett Stidham, New England Patriots, you will never hear the end of it from me. I can guarantee you that.
And it's because it's the Patriots, too, which even makes it worse because they drafted him and they didn't stick with him. It's even more funny.
It's going to be glorious, and it's going to happen. I'm feeling it, man. the vibes are, I don't know, the vibes, everybody's loose. I think they're going to rally around them. Now, they're probably going to lose like 40-3 in the Super Bowl, but they're going to get there. Watch. Just watch. Like Sean
It'd be a
Payton
normal
said.
Denver Super Bowl loss.
Exactly. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. We'll talk, as Lane Smith says in the comments, baseball season with several exclamation points. ECU Baseball Media Day was yesterday. Philip and I were there. Cason followed along as well. We'll give our biggest takeaways, looking at some of the storylines heading into the season as well. This is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your
Pirates
trusted
play
choice
here.
agent.
Time to play the game!
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in, Hoist the Colors, second segment here. We're talking a little bit of everything on this Tuesday. We just recap the national championship game. By the way, tomorrow we will catch up with Kim McNeil, ECU women's basketball coach. They have a huge game tonight at UTSA, top of the league standings. So pay attention to that, see how that unfolds. We'll talk to Kim, win or lose, tomorrow about their season to this point. We're going to talk some college baseball now. We've got Cason Remaley, former Hoist the Colors intern from Carolina Curveball. We also have Philip Pilkinen back producing on this show as well, back in the 94.3 The Game studios. All right, gentlemen, we had ECU Baseball Media Day yesterday. We talked with a handful of players, including Braden Burris, Austin Irby, others, Ethan Norby, and Jack Herring, too, and Colby Wallace. I think I got them all there. And then the coaches, we did not talk to Jake Gautreaux, but we did talk to the usual cast of Cliff Godwin, Jeff Palumbo, and Austin Knight. So let's kind of go around the horn. Biggest takeaways here. Cliff Godwin. We'll start with the coaches because really we got the most information from them. Cliff Godwin spoke for around, 20 minutes? I think 23 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the longer media day sessions. By the way, first-class event. Once again, like that it was in Town Bank Tower. We had a little bit more room to operate. Food was good. McAllister's
also wasn't 150 degrees in there like it gets in that team room when you have 40 bodies in there.
What do we graduate from, like half subs from Jimmy John's to McAllister's? Yeah. It was a big step up. Cason, you really missed out, bro. We had room to move, sit, eat. I mean,
what I liked is we had napkins. When we had Jimmy John's, we used to never have napkins. I'd get stuff in my hands. I had no way to get it off. Like, we had napkins.
It'd be like getting the crumbs off on the pirate skull that you can't step on in the team room. This is all behind the scenes stuff for non-media folk. But, it was a cool event. Any big takeaways? Philip, I'll start with you because you were there. We'll start with Cliff Godwin. What stood out, if anything, from Coach G?
He seemed less tense.
He's married.
When the portal got brought up, he was open about it. He was relaxed. He seemed happy to be there. I mean, not that he's not normal. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes Cliff, like, he gets in these media day things, and he's just like, all right, here we go. I got to talk about this stuff for 20 minutes. I don't want to. And, like, he didn't seem like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know if getting married is part of it or part of it he's finally, like, adapted to the craziness that's college athletics. Like, he doesn't like it, but, hey, none of us do. And I think maybe he was a little more stubborn than the rest of us. And I don't think he'd be too mad at me for saying that because he knows it's true. Like, he
compared himself to Dabo. I mean, I thought that was a good comparison.
Yeah, like, and he was kind of funny. Like, he made some jokes. I don't know, man. It was and I know I'm not talking baseball things right now. That's what you're asking, but I'm gonna give you more baseball answers with the other two coaches because Coach Palumbo's Coach Palumbo and Coach Knight's Coach Knight. But it just seems like maybe Cliff's ready to have more fun than normal. Maybe he seems excited. I don't know. Like, there's an extra aura about Cliff. I don't know what it is.
I got the same vibe. So I'm with you. I mean, and you can take it any direction you want to. So I like that you took it that direction because, like, you could kind of get that vibe watching the video, but being there, you could feel it even more. So I'm with you there. Cason, what about you? So you weren't there because you're obviously remote now, doing your own thing, but just watching the video, did anything stand out about Coach Godwin's interview?
Well, I'm going to kind of go on to stay on Philip's path and kind of bring in Palumbo's too of, like, in this portal era of all of these kids flipping schools every year, you got guys going to a new school every year of their 4 years, and none of these guys have a place that they call home because they're going to these different schools every year. But something that Godwin and Palumbo preach especially is, like, we have guys coming back to our program because this is the home that we built, but also that they built. He talked about Jake, Franny. He talked about Lunsford being back, Trey being back, Carter Cunningham being back. There's all these guys that come back. Burleson coming back because of the program that they build. And I think that Godwin said, again, we're not going to outbid guys. We're looking for the character. We're looking for the guy. And I think that's huge. And that's when he compared himself to Dabo Sweeney, funny enough. But I think that the fact that they've built this home and kept it intact through this portal era is so important. And I think we really saw that connectiveness and home at the end of last year when they went on that run, especially beating a team like Florida, having all this influx and money and just the team and we hear jokes about the power of friendship with the team is more than talent, but that was on full display in Conway. I was there myself. You were there. And just, like, what I got from that is, like, they have depth, and they have depth not at the baseball positions, but they have depth in good people and the home that he's built at East Carolina, which is just so big for me. And I know that's not baseball either, but I want to stay on Philip's path of, like, just the stuff off the field is so important to them, and it shows on the field like it did in Conway. I know they didn't get the job done, but they beat Florida twice.
Yeah, and they took the national runner-up to the very end in Coastal. So with Bradley Zayak, who no longer on the team. So hey, maybe they're better off with some of those guys gone. I did think he was interesting. He made the comment, look, we've got better human beings this year in the locker room. No disrespect to anybody there last year, but like just talking to people behind the scenes last year, it was if they're willing to come out and admit the culture was not as good as it usually is, like that says a lot, because the culture is always the number one priority at ECU. For me, the interview, I agree with both you guys. I think very well said. I just thought, and competition is always supreme in an ECU baseball program led by Coach Godwin. But like, I feel like this year, more than ever, like I don't know. Like I know Ethan Norby's gonna be the Friday night starter unless he's injured or hurt or not feeling well. Knock on wood. Obviously, none of those things happen. And I know Jack Heron probably is going to play right field. Colby Wallace is probably going to play third. Austin Irby's probably going to play first. Burris, I think, is going to play second. But, like, outside of that, I don't know.
Barron will catch.
I mean, I think so. But even, like, I think they're pushing him to get better. But, like, they didn't come out and say he's going to be our catcher. So I got the sense that, like, a lot of it is just wide open. Now, I do think Walker will catch day one. But I think it's more open competition-wise than even in past years. That was my takeaway.
Yeah, I don't think Barron ends the season as the catcher. That's my hot take on the season.
Yeah. Kalinich?
No, not Kalinich.
Carver? All right. I think they're challenging Walker to be better. Because, like, and they need – I mean, to be honest, they just need more catchers. Because last year, Kalinich couldn't catch. And so it was Walker – 99.9% of the time, so I don't know. I just got the vibe like anybody could start in the outfield depending on what type of lineup they want to go with. Shortstop, still kind of an unknown. Lashley sounds like could be the guy, but he's dealing with an injury. On the mound, doesn't even sound like Jenkins' role is technically solidified as a Saturday or Sunday guy because there's a lot of competition there. So I thought it was fascinating, watching that stuff or listening to that stuff. All right. Palumbo was our second interview, associate head coach. Been here with Cliff every step of the way, also in year 12. Kind of crazy that it's come like this. But anything stand out about Palumbo specifically, Philip, from your time with him yesterday?
Kind of going back to what we were just hitting on. It seemed like Palumbo, he's honest that, like, no one has really portrayed themselves as the guy they're going to look to at a certain position, at a certain part in the lineup. I mean, Braden will lead off. But it seems like no matter what you brought up, there was always multiple names, which is a good thing, right? To an extent. But also, if you got two, maybe you don't have one at some of these spots. Is it the competition's that good? Or is it the competition's that bad? I think it's the first one. I really do. But also, like, he wasn't afraid to say, like, hey, there's still a lot of guys. There's still a lot of dudes. It could be a good problem to have, but also, like, I don't want to be, like, overly optimistic that, hey, maybe nobody's setting themselves apart. Like you mentioned, Steven, like, you get a few spots that seem solidified, but even, like, some of those outfield spots, man, like, we've heard a lot of names. I don't know. There were even some names that he said that were kind of like, oh, I didn't even realize that guy was kind of part of this rotational deal. Does that mean he's really that good, or other guys aren't doing what they're supposed to do? I don't know.
I do think it was interesting that, and this is kind of going back to really all the coaches, but the two freshmen we heard about the most were Grady Linehan, center fielder, and Colby Weber. And look, it's different performing in the fall and then performing it during the season. So I'm not going to say these guys are going to be great this season, but potential-wise, Grady Linehan has the potential to be this team's starting center fielder and play a lot. I mean, he's that talented. You also have Weber, who's been up to 96, 97 on the mound, 6'6" right-hander. Now, he got hit hard at App State in the scrimmage, so it shows that just throwing hard doesn't guarantee anything. But just from a potential and upside standpoint, those guys appear to be legit. And there are other freshmen as well who were mentioned, but those two names stood out to me. Going to wrapping up Palumbo, obviously we ask him every year about why he stays at ECU, and I think he's just he's just comfortable here. His family loves it here. And it sounds like he's got unfinished business trying to get ECU to Omaha, just like Cliff Godwin is. So I think he wants to do that before he leaves to be a head coach elsewhere, or one day maybe as the head coach here. Austin Knight, we spoke with him, pitching coach. Again, the things that stood out, just the amount of names that are in contention for the pitching staff for me. I mean, and they brought in so many potential starters via the portal. I thought this would be the case because Frank Saccone from St. Joe's, he was a Friday night guy there. Gavin Van Campen was a weekend guy at West Virginia. Obviously, you bring back Jenkins and Norby, Moran, who was a part-time starter last year, and then you've got Towers and then Tolik coming off injuries who were starting candidates last year. So that's 7. You throw in Weber, that's 8. And we'll see how this thing plays out, Cason, but certainly. I feel like in the past we've kind of reached for like potential starters. At least a lot of these guys have done it before. Now it's just a matter of who's going to be the most consistent and healthy to win the jobs.
Yeah, 100%. I would have loved to see my face when Godwin was sitting at the table counting off the starters, and he names 8, and then he looks at AK and is like, "Am I missing anybody?" And he looks at him and he says, "Corey Weber," and like. When he said that, I went and looked on the roster and looked at Corey Weber's 6'7", 200 pounds as a freshman. Just Lord have mercy, that's big. But then again, we talked about pre-show with this team, and like you could argue they have the hardest first month of any team in the country. And if they have 8 to 9 starters like they say they do, they're gonna find out who these starters are in this first month. Series opener with Xavier, Campbell, NIU, North Carolina, and then you play College Charleston in Fayetteville. Charleston is not an easy out, and then you have the Leclerc Classic with Rutgers, Troy, Western, and then you go to Wilmington, and then you go an hour down the road, and then go to Coastal Carolina. I mean, they're going to find out who these starters are, who these leverage arms are in the bullpen quick, and they're going to have to find out if they're going to have to find out the first weekend, if not that next weekend versus Carolina, because during the first month you're facing 2 teams in North Carolina and Coastal Carolina that have like absolutely realistic goals and shots at going to Omaha. And honestly, you could argue right now on January 20th that those 2 teams will probably be in Omaha or knocking at the door or knocking it down. And I think if ECU wants to be in that conversation too, they're going to have to find 3 to 4 starters out of that 8 to 9 during the first month. And this is just in the first 30 days of the season, which is just, it's good and bad for this team. Good because you're going to gain this experience with the group that you have and saying how connected they are. But it's also bad because, I mean, they're getting thrown to the fire quickly. There is no quick rev up. There's not a whole lot of runway. It's take off like a helicopter, not really like a plane going off a runway. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that ends up, because when I was looking at Guy when he was counting off on his fingers the starters, and I was like, whoa. So we will see about that for sure.
And a lot will be determined upon what happens in these scrimmages in the coming weeks as far as performance, and dictated by that. All right, let's get a break in, guys. We'll come back. We'll continue on the ECU baseball discussion. I do have a question I want to address when we come back from the chat. We'll take also a look around the Carolinas. We just mentioned Coastal and UNC. Who else does Carolina Curveball project to be in the mix this year? We'll break that down and more. This is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, It's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Cason Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Segment 3 here on Hoist the Colors Radio. We've got Cason and Remaley joining us from Carolina Curveball. We'll talk about some of the teams in the Carolinas to watch outside of ECU here in a minute. Philip Pilkington also producing. By the way, guys, so we were looking and talking about ECU's tough schedule segment 2. ECU opens with Xavier. This is Xavier. They're always one of the top RPI teams. This is Xavier's schedule to open the season. At ECU, in 3-game series, at Louisville midweek, at Arkansas 3-game series, Indiana at home, at Cal State Fullerton midweek or weekend series, at Ohio State midweek, at Oregon State weekend series, 4-game series, at Oregon. I mean, they could go 1-16 and still have like a top 10 RPI. Yeah. This is what they do every year, though. It's insane.
Hey, those would be quad 1 games for us. A lot of quad 1 games early.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, so Xavier, always great RPI team because they don't play any home games until like April. And this year they're playing freaking gauntlet. I mean, this is insane.
They were in Cincinnati. It's cold in Cincinnati in February.
This is the tough part about being a college baseball team in the North. All right, a question from the chat. Garrett wants to know, do we think there's any chance ECU gets ranked going into the UNC series? So first off, ECU is ranked by Baseball America and Perfect Game, but not D1 Baseball. So I always say I recognize D1 Baseball the most. Even if you sweep Xavier, usually D1 does not overreact to week 1 results much at all. I feel like ECU would have to sweep, and maybe like number 24 and number 25 would have to just be awful. I mean, am I off on that, Cason or Philip?
No.
And I don't even know who number 24 and number 25 play, to be honest.
You've got Arizona and A&M, but I don't know who they play. So we're more doubtful than not. But I guess it is possible because I would think ECU is right on the outside of D1 baseball. It's top 25. All right. From the Carolinas in D1 baseball's preseason top 25, you got Coastal Carolina at 6. North Carolina at 11, NC State at 17, Clemson at 19, Wake Forest at 21. So I believe that's 5, Cason. Was anybody a surprising omission? Obviously ECU. Were you guys surprised at that? And anybody else that is kind of in that upper tier?
I don't think too much of a surprise. Me personally, with us talking, I don't think ECU should have been ranked to start, and I think it benefits ECU as it does. I think this year we're kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say they have low expectations, but I don't think ECU this year has expectations of they were, was it 24 that year? Just some of the expectations were very, very high, and I think it's a good thing. But I will say with Coastal Carolina, they are returning Fluky, Carbone in that on that pitching staff, which were just unreal. They just gave ECU absolute fits. They're returning a lot of good pieces in their lineup as well. And then again, down the road in Chapel Hill, Forbes is just an absolute winner. He's going to win on the field. He's going to win in the portal. He wins everywhere. One of the best head coaches in the country. They're a phenomenal program. They're going to be good. A team that I'm looking out for this year, who had expectations last year also, is South Carolina with head coach Paul Maneri. I'm just so curious on how their season goes because each year they have this unreal portal class. They have the number one ranked portal class this year, according to some. I mean, you know how baseball is; it's never just one. So, I mean, they have some really heavy hitters coming in, but then again, in the SEC, it's just dog eat dog. So you never really know what's going to happen. Duke, with first year coach Corey Mascara, if I'm saying that, Mascara, from the pitching coach from Wake Forest. So looking forward to seeing how what goes on there in Durham. They got some pretty good transfers coming in. They have one of our favorite players from last year, transfer from Davis. His name is Cider Cannon, just an absolute first team all name right there in the country. So he'll be really good for Duke as he was for the Wildcats last year. Hit 17 home runs for them. And Wake Forest is going to be Wake Forest. They're always going to be in the picture. And NC State, as much as ECU fans don't want to hear it, as long as Avent's there, they're always going to be in the picture. And they have a good portal class coming in as well.
NC State, I mean, I feel like every year they just start slow and then just figure it out. And I'm sure they'll do the same this year.
And Wake will start ranked higher than they'll finish.
Yep. Yes. That's a consistent theme for sure. With Coastal, I mean, you kind of mentioned it. Like I mean, Schnall is a heck of a coach, man. I mean, 56-13 last year, ridiculous. But like, it is so different. I feel like being the hunted versus the hunter. And like this year, ECU kind of goes in under the radar. Coastal, the last few years, had really been pretty under the radar. And then just kind of snuck up with a lot of people. They had a bunch of pitchers returning from injury last year that panned out. I am curious to see how some of those guys with huge workload do this year. I mean, we got to remember, pitching deep into Omaha, like that is a long season for a lot of these guys. And they lost a lot positionally. So I'm curious to see how that unfolds. And I remember Cason sending you the South Carolina backstory from the Big Spur about how fractured the Paul Maneri program was last year. So, I mean, like, I think they're either going to be good or terrible again. No in between. I mean, they're going to be talented, but if it goes bad, it's going to go bad again.
Yeah, the thing is with Coastal, man, I get what you're saying, Stephen, from being the hunter to the hunted when it comes to a lot of their out-of-conference stuff, a lot of their midweeks where they do play tough teams. But I still think even when they were down, they were still the upper echelon of their conference, right? They were still one of those teams where they were the third best team, but they were still viewed as, hey, this team has won it all. We still got to beat Coastal. This is still a statement win for us. So they've been the hunted in those situations. Now, to your point, Stephen, though, they're not going to maybe sneak up on some teams that they would have snuck up on last year. Again, out of conference, midweek, things like that. Could that hurt them? Sure, but they're giving themselves enough of an opportunity with a tough schedule, I think, to still put themselves in a good RPI spot as long as they handle conference play the way that they believe they should and the way I think we all believe they will, to still host. And as long as they're hosting, I mean, come on. We know that's a tough place to play, and it all comes down to what happens when you get to June. Cason?
What you got, Cason?
Yeah. And did you see the D1 Baseball All-American teams came out this morning?
No.
Ethan Norby, first team preseason All-American for D1 Baseball. Cameron Fluky also on that team, as well as Dominic Carbone. Aiden Kanak, pitcher for Clemson, absolute stud, is on the first team as well. Let's go to second team in the Carolinas. Jason DeCaro, pitcher for Carolina. Second team, Ryan Lynch, relief pitcher for Coastal. Second team, Walker McDuffie for Carolina on the second team. He's an animal. He's that
He's a
kid
stud.
McDuffie. And then third team, Gavin Gallagher, second baseman for Carolina. And for Wake Forest on the third team, Blake Morningstar, pitcher for Wake Forest. So there's also a good handful of players on the first team. And Ethan Norby and Cameron Flukie and Aiden Kanak, 3 starting pitchers, first team All-Americans in the Carolinas.
I mean, I knew Norway would get some preseason honors. First team preseason All-American is pretty strong. I mean, that's with some of the names he's listed beside, like first round pick type guys, I mean, that's pretty strong. But I think his ability on Team USA last year raised his profile even more because he went up there. He was throwing like 93 to 95. I mean, he was not the 90 to 91 Norby we kind of knew. So we'll see, man. I know they've worked hard this offseason on preparing him because, like, he is, at the end of the day, he's still, a 5'8", 5'9" left-hander. And it's not easy to go out there and take the ball every Friday night. So I am curious to see how he holds up after a big workload last year. But, yeah, he was a stud, and Pirates are expecting him to be really good again this year. By the way, Coastal, looking at their schedule, they play a lot of home games early. Then right before the weekend before they host ECU, they go to the Bruce Bolt College Classic in Houston, Texas. They'll take on Texas, our old buddies, UTSA, and Ole Miss before coming back to play NC State on the road in a midweek and then hosting ECU. So March 6th through the 8th, that'll be the ECU series. Are we going this year, Cason? Me and you?
It is definitely up in the air if we're going. I want to go for sure.
That sounds like a no to me.
It's not. I know for sure. I have to make sure that no one is in the place first.
Okay. All right. Maybe Philip can join us.
I'd be down.
Yeah. Come to Conway, Philip, and have a good time, man. It's a good experience. Any other teams in the Carolinas, like under the radar teams, Cason, that stand out from you guys? I know you guys will have some stuff on this. I don't know, like is App State, Charleston Southern's been kind of good in the past. Any of those teams standing out?
I think a team that is really close to home, Charlotte. Charlotte put third in the AAC preseason poll. I think they're going to be solid. Good head coach, bringing in another good transfer class as they did last year, just bringing in a whole bunch of JUCO bandits, which is just kind of what they do. And Wilmington. I mean, Wilmington is always going to be a solid program. They did have some major losses. They did lose Cam Bagwell to Wake Forest and another pitcher, I'm pretty sure, to I think Wake Forest as well. So they took some hits. Tanner Thatch no longer there, but then again, they're just going to rebuild. App State, I'm going to be completely sure. I'm not really sure. I know that they lost some guys to the transfer portal as well. Tyler Lynchenberg, their shortstop, went to Clemson. And some we haven't talked about, not on the radar, but Clemson, I mean, they're going to be right there once again. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to this season very much. And we are actually going back live with our weekly show starting on Thursday. We do Thursdays and Sundays. So Thursday we will have kind of like an off-season recap and preview going through the top transfers, some of the guys that I listed off today, and really just kind of getting people ready slowly for the baseball season. We cannot wait. We're going to have tons of content out, weekly shows, really looking forward to it. And thank you guys for the support and really showing me how to do this, Stephen and Philip. So you guys are responsible for all the growth that we have, and I really appreciate that from you two for sure.
We will only take credit for the stuff that looks good. The stuff that is bad, and it's all your fault. By the way, hey, you know who's a part of that Charlotte 49ers incoming transfer class? Winter is coming, baby. Jaden
really?
Winter, 49er.
Yeah.
We'll see if he pitches against the Pirates this year. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back and we'll wrap up the show. we'll talk some college hoops to wrap it up. We'll take it back to Cason's OG days. After this, Hoist the Colors final segment on the way.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville patio and hearth shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today.
Loyal and bold with the purple and gold.
Yo ho ho!
And we're back to Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Final segment here, a few minutes left. We're going to talk some college hoops. By the way, it's been a struggle for the men's team. We did catch up with Mike Schwartz today over inside Minji's. Talked to him about some of the struggles they're going through. Check it out. That's online on our YouTube channels. Also, the women play tonight. They're 13-6. They're 5-1 in the conference. They go to UTSA, 7:30 Eastern tip-off. Huge game in the American on the women's side. College hoops as a whole, I'm just going to be honest, as we have Cason, Remaley, and Philip Pilkinen with us. I have not watched much college basketball at all this year. I have followed the scores just to see some of the storylines. I always love the outrage of every UNC loss. The Will Wade experiment, Cason, seems to be, look, it's early, but at the same time, like, it's never early in the portal era now. I mean, with the money they spent, I was hearing like ACC championship hopes when they seem to be very up and down, and losing to Georgia Tech recently, right?
Yeah, it is quite something for sure. Knowing a couple people still there and just the things that go on, it is quite bizarre, and it just goes to show that, like, if you get the wrong guys in your building, it can turn south really, really quick. And also, like, it's hard to yell at these guys when they're making more than you as a coach. I mean, when you got guys making $3 million, telling them to go drive to the rack, not shoot a three, they're looking at you like, sorry, my check's still going to clear. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. State's not the only place this is happening around the country. And I just think it's bizarre that it's going down like this. But my favorite storyline this year so far, Nebraska, 18-0, has never won an NCAA tournament game. And will they get it done this year? Absolutely not. They'll lose. They'll lose to a 3 seed like
I was
Omaha.
about to say, was that they're going to be about a 3-14 game and get beat?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Philip, you're mad about your quarterback being stolen, but at least the Duke Blue Devils basketball team looking pretty dang good. So
they're okay. Boozer's the only true scorer. I mean, but there's like Boozer's the only true scorer.
Yeah.
If he's not scoring, they can light it up from three. They can beat anybody on any given night. They actually have the most wins against ranked opponents, but they need a true drive to the basket score. Dame Sarr has that ability, but he hasn't evolved into that right now. They play tough defense, but they're not a great basketball team. They're a solid basketball team. They should see the Sweet 16, and if they get the right matchup, they'll make the Elite Eight, and that'll be about the end of the road.
Tough life. Number 5 in the country, 17-1. Yeah, they're okay. Must be nice.
Just being honest,
you know. I don't even know what that feels
I'm just giving analysis from the 18 games, 20 games I've watched, if I count the 2 preseason games.
That's fair. All right, Cason, we're out of time, man. Appreciate you as always. Again, remind people where to find yourself.
Yeah, guys, find us on Twitter at Carolina Curve BB. We'll be live Thursday night at 9 o'clock. Be sure to tune in to Ducks in the Pond tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. And then flip over to us on Thursday. Boys, it's been fun. Miss y'all. See y'all soon.
Always great to have Cason back doing great work with Carolina Curveball. Appreciate him. Appreciate Philip as well. We got to get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow, 12 noon. Kim McNeil and Bucks on the Pond. See you then.